This season of Truly Independent is supported by the Help Them See Foundation. Help Them See is a nonprofit dedicated to supporting feature films that inspire faith, hope, and connection. By partnering with filmmakers, the Help Them See Foundation brings meaningful stories to life and shares them with audiences worldwide, making a lasting cultural impact through the power of cinema. Learn more and discover how you can be part of the movement by visiting helpthemseefoundation.org. Welcome to Season 3 of Truly Independent. I'm Garrett Batty alongside my co-host Darren Smith. Each week, we'll go in-depth with guests, industry experts, and we'll even share our own experiences, all with the goal of demystifying the independent film process. This season, it's all about the script, from the first spark of an idea to a polished final draft, breaking it down for scheduling, budgeting, and ultimately shooting. We'll walk through every step it takes to get from page to production. Welcome to Truly Independent.
Hey, man.
Darren, how are you? It looks like you got the memo to today's Casual Monday or Hoodie Monday.
Yeah, Hoodie Monday. I'm sporting the Steady C4, our friend Charles Eunice's brand there. Shout out to Charles. It's my favorite fitting sweater, so I wear it when I want to feel comfy.
Oh, good. You deserve it. We're just getting back from a long trip, not a long trip, but quick trip to NRB.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot to talk about, but it is nice to be getting caught up with work here at home, or I guess work here at the home office.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a whirlwind trip. We're going to talk about NRB today. We're going to talk about film festivals today. We're going to talk about what do you do when events that you have scheduled need to be canceled. We can cover all the things that are happening in real time in our lives right now. So why don't we start with NRB? You and I went to the National Religious Broadcasters Convention last week in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Gaylord Opryland, which feels like a Disneyland inside of a mall. Like that place blew my mind when I walked in. There were waterfalls and people riding a boat in a river in the middle of the place. Like, what?
Yeah, I was amazed. It was one of the coolest convention centers I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And somebody was saying something like it's the biggest like indoor convention center in the United States or something like that. I mean, and I would believe it.
Yeah. I don't need to fact check that. I just go, yep, that sounds accurate.
It checks out.
I got lost trying to find the restaurant for dinner in a place that has signage and maps. Okay.
I don't know. What does that say? What does that say about you?
I know.
No, I can understand that. It was definitely a lot of walking, but a very well attended conference. My goodness, a huge showroom floor and multiple auditoriums full of industry related topics and trainings and breakout rooms, and they had a pitch session going. So it was they had screenings happening in different rooms. I was able to sneak in and see a sneak peek of The Chosen and other upcoming films. So it was a lot going on. It was great to be there.
Yeah. Basically, the entire faith-based media industry is gathering in one place for a week. We were there for 2 days. And so when you're going to drop in and try to make the most of the time you have there, really, it's a strategic thing. I remember you talking about this last year, how you really did a lot of prep. You figured out who you wanted to meet with. You called ahead. You set up meetings. You took meetings. And it was a great time. You came back with a lot of new connections and a lot of opportunities to follow up. And this year I noticed you were doing a lot of touches, a lot of like, in the year that's passed, we've done a deal with this group, or we have them on where our movie's on their streamer, or that, we've met them in time. So I want to put names to faces, and you did a lot of that. How did it go for you this year compared to last year?
Yeah, I think it was just as effective. As you mentioned, when people who have purchased or licensed Faith of Angels reached out to me to reconnect and say, hey, are you going to NRB? We'd love for you to stop by our booth and give us one of those director social media shout outs or something like that. So there was an intention to go out there and promote Faith of Angels and reconnect with those who I met last year and throughout the year licensed the film to, which was very fun to be able to do that and say, okay, this obviously proved worthwhile and was effective. And then we also, with that mindset of saying, okay, I'm going to go out there with a purpose to try to reconnect or make new connections with the intention of promoting and placing Faith of Angels and other films, it was worthwhile to go out and shake hands with Jared Giese from Angel. And when they see me someplace other than in their email or at their Angel Studios office, they see me talking about upcoming movies. It's good. I think it's an independent filmmaker. It's going to be on their radar. They say, okay, he's not just a one and done thing. We've got more movies and he's working on more movies. So yeah, we chatted with Angel, I chatted with Pure Flix and Great American Pure Flix. Chatted with some new ones. Vision Video is great. Redeem TV has licensed Faith of Angels now. And so each one of those was worthwhile. And I think it leads to more and more. I sat in an hour-long podcast discussion with Hank Irwin, and the Irwin brothers. He's their dad. Kind of one of the reasons that they're already known and have a reputation.
He's the co-creator of the Irwin brothers.
Oh, you had that loaded and ready to go.
No, that's right off the cuff, man. I'm gonna join you at Comedy Sports one of these days.
Yeah, I think they're calling right now. Yeah, so it was great. It was very effective. Plus, Darren, it was fun to see you out there and see how you operated, because you did not have downtime.
No, it would have been nice when you're on trips. Like sometimes you're like, oh, vacation mode, engage. But no, it almost never happens because you want to make the most of the time you have. And so what was crazy is you and I, we bought just the expo floor passes. I don't know if you bought passes to other stuff. I bought the expo floor pass, which
just expo for me this time.
Yeah. And it's like there's 8 rows or 9 rows of 250 plus vendors that are there and have booths. The first day I didn't even make it into the floor because I had meetings lined up, and 2 other things that I did that I want to share that I think are strategic and that can really be used by anybody. So the first one was our publicist for Brotherhood is Lori and Callie with Biscuit Media Group. And they are crazy connected. They've been going to NRB for decades, I think. And Lori and Callie were recently at Angel. And so they've been there doing the biggest, releases for the last 5 or 10 years. So to snag them up and get them on our project, basically what I did was texted Lori and I said, hey, I'm going to be here these times and these days. Can we just go around and meet all the people that I should meet in the windows that you have availability for that? She's like, yeah, great. So we met up on Wednesday, and for 2.5 hours, she just walked me from room to room to room to room and said, you need to meet these guys. And instead of just pointing me at them, she would walk over and go, can I introduce you to Darren? He's got an amazing project I want to tell you about. And then she would tell them the quick pitch of the movie. And then they're lit up because they're like, that sounds like an amazing movie. And Lori's the one introducing you. So like that handshake carried so much leverage that after that first day, I was like, oh, I could go home now and go home with, I've got them here on my desk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 business cards of people that are like, please follow up with me and tell you, you got your stack there too. And so having a publicist there, whether you're at a film festival or a convention like this, I think is probably top of my list as far as leverage and strategy. The other thing quickly is I used AI to help me cull through the 250 vendors that are on the booth or on the floor to go, okay, I've got, call it half a day here. Who should I go and talk to? Because there's too many and most of them are not in alignment with what my goals are right now. So I literally went to the exhibitor page, grabbed the categories, fed it into Claude AI, and said, tell me the companies that I should go visit. And in less than 20 minutes, I had a list of 10 booths that I needed to go and talk to with, here's the question to lead with, here's what to focus on, and here's what the outcome is. So I put that into my notes and just like went through like a shopping list and just kind of said, great, click on that one. And then I would leave a little voice to text note underneath it so that I knew, should I follow up or not a fit or whatever. But that led to another 5 or 6 people that I'm now following up with because they're like, I'm so glad you stopped by. Please let me know about this. Yeah. So those 2 strategies, publicist and then using AI to identify the top booths that I should visit, it turned into a really great 2 days at the convention.
Yeah, it was neat to see you do that, and I agree that your first time there, and you've got Lori, who's leading you around and making key introductions. And we cannot overstate Lori's connective. We're sitting there talking at somebody's booth, and they're playing highlights of NRB years past with presenters on stage. And Lori pops up. She's a clip of Lori on stage,
That was a fun
presenting
moment. Yeah.
Angels. Yeah, and you just go, oh, that's the person that stopping people and saying, hey, I want you to meet Darren and listen to his project, which is much better than scanning somebody's name badge. Oh, you're a distributor? Can I give you a pitch deck? And it was like, wow, that's great. So it was very well executed, and it made for an efficient 2 days there,
Yeah, definitely.
and busy 2 days. I know
And
at the
busy.
end of day one, I was thinking of, hey, I'm going to go catch a movie,
We were
wrapping up.
talking about that,
The
yeah.
thing closes at 4 o'clock. The expo closes at 4. And I'm like, okay, things are kind of wrapping up. I think I finally got out of there about 5. And said, I'm going to go catch a movie. Nope. Went back to the hotel, started getting caught up on some work, and realized, hey, we're here at NRB. Let's use our time to plan the next day or whatever it was.
Yeah. No, I was like, yeah, let's go see a movie. And then my investor dinner that I had set up previously went for 2.5 hours, which is a good thing for investor meetings. But I didn't get back to the room till 9 or something that night. So it was just like, no, I'm not going to go see a movie.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it was great. Good. I told my wife, I said, I think I'll go for 3 years. I'm going to give it 3 years and make sure that we're getting results. But I think already in 2, it's proving fruitful.
yeah,
And so I'll continue to go.
yeah. If it leads to one deal on a streamer or a platform or a channel, that not only covers your cost of going, but also forges a new relationship. And who knows how long that's going to be ongoing and how many other films, because you've got a whole library of films that you can be licensing to people instead of just the one that you're currently working on. Super
Right.
smart.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, on the way out, I guess we were sitting at the airport. We got a call from the current distributor of a movie that was 5 years old, and one of my films, and he said, "Hey, we'd like to look at some other opportunities with this title." So I don't know if that's just effort begets results, regardless of if they're connected or not. But we're grateful for that. It was a good week. Good
Yeah.
week there.
I think it's that law of physics, right? Object in motion stays in motion. So there's
Right.
something about it. You've got to create your own momentum. Okay, well, let's parlay that into what's happening this week. Originally on my calendar, I was going to be heading to New York today, like on a flight right now as we're recording this, to do a big event, a spotlight event on brotherhood for the Broadway community. We were planning on doing that on Wednesday. But a huge storm came through yesterday and today, Sunday, Monday, and kind of shut down the East Coast. So flights got canceled, and Broadway is closing on Tuesday night, and just everything was kind of working against us pulling a big event together with 30, 40 people. So we ended up canceling / postponing that event, to be determined when that'll happen again. But it freed me up to do the thing that we love to do every year, which is go to ZIFF, the Zion's Indie Film Festival, which is taking place this week.
Right here in our own backyard in
Mm-hmm.
Orem, Utah. Michelle and Marshall Moore, who are friends of the show, are putting on their 25th. It's the 25th anniversary of ZIFF,
Crazy.
of that festival.
Yeah.
And it's had several evolutions throughout that 25 years, but I've attended probably since year 6, and just loved it. It's a great festival. Opening night tonight, we'll be there to celebrate. Rob Diamond's got a new movie there, and more just to make the reconnect with the Utah independent film market, which is a wonderful film family.
Yeah. I think it makes sense to tie in what we were talking about with NRB into the film festival circuit, because, like, we're up and running. We're into February of a new year. Things kind of kick off every year with Sundance, and we just got through Berlinale and EFM that happened over the last 2 weeks. So now we're into, spring season, and we've got lots and lots of festivals coming. So how do you make the most of your time at a film festival? And I mean, this happened this morning. So we're talking about this stuff in real time. But like, if I'm thinking about, I'm going to be going to a festival, the first thing I do is think about when and where can I host an event and invite a bunch of people that I want to connect with. Because the opposite is a hope strategy of, I'm going to go to this festival, I'm going to buy a pass, and I'm going to attend, and I will see what happens and let serendipity guide the way the week turns out. And for me, that's too unoptimized for my brain. So I like thinking about who do I want to connect with and how can I do it in a leveraged way where I could maybe meet lots of people at the same time rather than taking 10 meetings over the week, because I don't have time for that. I've definitely had a dozen people reach out and want meetings. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be in New York. But now that it's public that I'm going to be in town, I don't have time for 10 meetings. Most of my day is going to be here at my house doing stuff for Producer Fund One and Brotherhood. And then I'll probably pop over in the evenings to screen movies and see people who made them. So the first thing I did was set up a lunch on Thursday. And by the time you listen to this, we will have already eaten and digested that food. And so it's too late. The first thing I did was set up an event and invite 50 people and say, I'm going to be at this place eating tacos for 2 hours. You should come and do the same. And that's what I did this morning, because you've got to be the person creating the table rather than waiting for the invites to come to you, I think.
That's wise. Yeah, and everybody's going to go to the festival with a different purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying, hey, enough about making movies. I just want to go watch some movies for once. Okay, that's an enjoyable thing to do. And this festival is a great one to do that at. But yes, if your goal is there are certain people that we need to connect with and network with, what a great idea to plan that out beforehand, plan the event, like you're saying, so that it's much more of less of a hope strategy and more of a proactive, like I'm going to create my own fate strategy. I love that.
Yeah. So if you're a filmmaker with the film in a festival and you know that there are going to be distributors there, I'd be spending the weeks before reaching out to set up meetings, and rather than hoping and waiting that they come to your screening and then ask you for a meeting afterwards, right? Set up your own meetings and forge your own destiny and those types of things. Cause like if the festival comes and goes and you missed out, it's like that. What do you have next? Now you have no strategy. Now you got to start from zero again. It's like, that's not great. So
it's an interesting point, Darren. It was the same thing that we noticed at NRB, where a lot of the people with whom we were interacting, we have their emails and we have their contacts, and we maybe even chatted with them once or twice in LinkedIn. However, there is something about being at an event in person where there's this energy and momentum and the hub of the industry working to make those connections and go, okay, this now becomes legitimate, or it takes the email to a next level. And we're like, okay, we're all on this like human adventure together. And let's work together. Let's collaborate.
Yeah.
It's easier, I think, to commit to a meeting or to future projects or whatever in that type of environment.
Yeah. Just to reinforce what you just said, which I think is a topic that we keep circling around today, is the people you're associated with matters, because like you're at the event, all of a sudden it's like you have this sense of, oh, you're one of us. Oh, you're here too. You're different, like I'm different because you're here. And then you add a layer of, oh, you're associated or standing next to or being introduced by these people. Oh, you're at the same lunch as these people. You're in the same room as I'm in. Those things matter, right? If you're in I don't want to call out names but if you're in the big room upstairs instead of on the expo floor downstairs, those are different rooms to be in. If your publicist is walking you around, that's different than you knocking on doors and handing out your business card or your one pager. Another thing that happened at the event, which was interesting and kind of reinforces this point, is I had this long lunch with an investor, now friend, on Wednesday night. I bumped into him on the expo floor the next morning. He said, oh, Darren, come here. I want to introduce you to somebody. So he comes over and introduced me to somebody that I was going to meet with later at the booth. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. But because this guy is introducing me, they actually spent 5-10 minutes with me on the floor, whereas I would have been waiting in line to get my turn to give my little 30-second elevator pitch at the booth. The difference in the positioning of those two options is massive.
Night and day.
Night and day. And so there's a difference. And so the more you can craft those opportunities and those experiences, the better off it's going to go.
I like that approach at festivals too. At Zion's, one of the great things, and I think we've been doing this show long enough that we've mentioned ZIF before and talked about our experiences there. But I get very excited to introduce other filmmakers to distributors and be that bridge. So it's not, I made a movie and I'm hoping to try to find a distributor. It's, oh, so I saw your movie as a screener to be submitted for ZIF. I'd love to introduce you to whatever it is, BMG or Candlelight or whatever distributor is going to be here at the festival. Whether they pick up your movie or not, it's a good contact to have. And let me be that bridge for you. We set up a time and we find the distributor when we're there, or set up a time with the distributor too, and say, I'd like you to meet this filmmaker.
Yeah, it's one of those, and anyone can do this, where you can go, oh, hey, so-and-so I know, I'm talking to so-and-so, hey, come over here, I want to introduce you to. You can just do that at festivals, even if you're not the most connected person. You might just have one or two times you do that, but doing that increases your kind of, not value, but your leverage, your positioning in that environment. And people remember that. People really are grateful for being introduced to cool people, because they're just like you are, going, who should I meet and who should I talk to? And I want to make sure I'm having the right conversations that are going to help me with the things that I care about. And so the more that I know what you're up to, Garrett. So if I'm there and I'm talking to somebody, 100%, if you walk by, I'm going to go, Garrett, do you know so-and-so? And if you do, then great. And it can be a 30-second conversation. Okay, I got to go. But if you don't know them and I'm making an intro, or vice versa, it's like, oh, well, now there's a real conversation to be had because of the intro. So there's just a ton of value in that. And you can create it. You don't have to wait for it to show up. You can just start doing that. And it's weird that it starts coming back to you the same way.
One little insider tip too that I do at festivals, and I don't know if this is hokey or not, but I do it and it's been fruitful, is, usually at the end of screenings, there's Q&As, right? Where the filmmakers come up, or where they introduce cast and crew. And if you see something that you see a movie that's well done or well made, you want to make that contact and make an impression on the filmmaker or the distributor or whatever it is. It's super easy to just take out your phone and snap a picture of the Q&A. Filmmakers love pictures of themselves.
Yep.
Right? I'll say that. I'm not shy to say that. And then afterwards, you go up and you've got that picture and say, hey, I'd love to let me text this to you or email it to you. And more often than not, we're like, oh, that's cool. And that starts the thread, the conversation, where it's very unintrusive. It'd be like, hey, I'd love to contact with you. In that brief second, they're not viewing you as a peer or a filmmaker or whatever it is. They're just, you attended their screening. That's great. But it's a great way to get to know people and to maintain that contact, because you've got that already. You're giving them something of value.
Yeah. It doesn't just work for filmmakers. I've used that exact strategy to get in touch, or to have a touch with executive producers, investors, distributors, because if they're up on the panel too, it's like, yes, hey, here's a picture for you. And they may put it on LinkedIn. They may put it on their website. They may, they're going to use it for maybe different purposes, instead of just on Instagram of like, hey, here's my film. It's like, oh, here's me in a film setting. I mean, I guess it's the same idea as a filmmaker.
Yeah,
but
it's a great,
be able to, like, I've got, the cell numbers of lots of investors and executive producers now. And it's like, you often need a reason to talk to them, because you want to follow up with them a lot more often or frequently than they want to follow up with you, because they have more demands on their time and attention than we do. So having opportunities like that are organic and genuine, it's like, oh man, thanks so much. I appreciate that. How's your project going? Is typically how those conversations go.
Yeah, totally. Now that I've said that, Darren, you're going to get lots of people coming up to you saying, hey, I got this picture of you. Can I
love it.
Your number.
I don't take selfies. So like I need them every so often. I shouldn't say I don't like to take selfies.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, so that is this week. We've got last week was NRB, and then what's next? You and I had a great shoot this week for Brotherhood, behind the scenes shoot. Two of them.
Goodness.
That project is just rolling forward.
It is, and you're forcing me to look at the calendar, and it's, gosh, we are, if we're at the start of this week and we count this week, 2 weeks from now, we're doing like our all hands. Our creative team is in town for like our kickoff of pre-production. Like, We're in pre-production 3 weeks from now, and we're shooting a month and a half from now. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So about 7, 8 weeks till we're in production on Brotherhood, which is bonkers. But this last weekend, we were doing dance auditions. We are in the middle of casting still. We've got probably 4 or 5 more supporting cast roles to cast. Ross and our casting director, Ben Cummins, are hot on the trail of a lot of those talented people. So it's, we're just cranking on all fronts at this point, and trying to keep up with the momentum of this project has been fun and exhilarating and a little nerve-wracking, because it's like, I thought 6 months, requiring 6 months of development, was going to be like luxurious and great. Like, we got so much time, we can just kind of, saunter around and it'll all, no. It's like, it still comes at you like a freight train, and you're like, oh, it's here, it's arrived, and you better figure out how to get on. Very exciting times, but before we know it, we're going to be in prep, and then before we know it, we're going to be shooting, and can't wait. But I also want more time.
And your website's up and active. So if I wanted to find out more, I could just go to Brotherhood Movie.
Yeah, brotherhoodmovie.com. Put in your info, because we're sending out updates that are exclusive to email subscribers. And the meta, or the behind the scenes of this, is like, okay, well, why would you do that? Why would you limit the exposure of the content that you're creating to those that are on an email list? Well, the answer is to build the email list. You can't anymore. I mean, for the last 10 years, you can't just say subscribe to my newsletter. Like, that's not enough for the transaction to be valuable for both sides, because giving up your email list means I'm going to get spam email all the time. So you have to have something to trade for that email, so that it's a valid and a valuable transaction for both sides. So for us, the value is we can reach people directly. We don't have to rely on Instagram or LinkedIn or some algorithm to put our content in front of people. Whenever we have a new piece of notable and remarkable stuff that's coming out, a press release or any of those things, we can send it directly to the people who we want to know about the project. So it's a way to build the email list.
It's a great plan, and we did that before with Faith of Angels and The Carpenter, and it works. It creates an early audience of interested potential viewers.
Yeah. My internal goal is 10,000 people by the time this movie comes out, which seems small, probably seems large for lots of filmmakers. But in the grand scheme of things, if a movie is going to make $1 million opening weekend, that's probably somewhere around 100,000 people that need to go see it. How are you going to do that? Because if 20% or 10% of your email list, which is high, converts into a ticket, that's 1 million people on an email list to sell 100,000 tickets. That's not enough. I'm trying to get 10,000 and hoping that those 10,000 creates more and more. But man, I would love to have 1 million or 10 million people on an email list, but everyone starts from zero. So Craftsman Films and Brotherhood are building at the same time from zero.
I love your math on that, and I'm going to do some math, because what you're saying is really fascinating. Even if you have an email list of 10,000, you go, okay, what percentage is going to go to the movie opening weekend or even over the course of the run? You look at Angel Studios, their subscriber list is 2 million guild members. So these are guild members that are people actively like paying, whether they can't unsubscribe or whatever it is. They're actively paying monthly fee to be a part of Angel. So we're getting the emails, getting the promotions. And so you do the math on that and you say, hey, 2 million, where their last movie just opened at, what did it open? 7 million on its opening weekend or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, what percentage of that list then is going to that opening weekend box office? And it's a far cry from what it could be. If you got 2 million subscribers, that should be a $20 million opening weekend. So what's that?
So they had about 600,000 people show up, 600,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Divided by 2 million is 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 30%. If you attribute every single ticket sold opening weekend to their list of guild members, the 2 million that are on their list, that's 30%.
Which is a big attribution. I wouldn't do that. I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't either.
say, oh, you have
And
to
I
get
also know
go.
that their email list is 10 times that. So if you say 20 million, that's a 3% conversion rate, which is more accurate. That's pretty standard. So 10%, like I said, that's high. Like a 10% conversion rate is a very engaged list. So assume it's going to be between 2 and 5% that convert, even on your email list. So again, the numbers are crazy. If you need 1 million people to show up, you're going to need 20 million people on an email list. Like I don't know any filmmaker that can do that besides Mark Fishmom, Markiplier, who can get, a large percentage of his 38 million subscribers to show up. That's an outlier. You can't rely on that. I don't know any other filmmaker that has millions with an S on an email list. So I'm trying to think like a business and go, okay, E24 probably has a big list. I don't think Pixar has an email list that they're utilizing very well. Angel has a big one. E24 Blumhouse does a good job with marketing. There's only a handful of companies that even get this. And it's okay, but that's what it takes. An email list of 10 million plus to get 1 million people to show up opening weekend.
Well,
the expensive math.
We got our work cut out for us then.
Indeed we do. But
we're building our list through the Help Them See Foundation. On Wednesday, we meet with our marketing team, our marketing, agency. Is going to help us focus on building that list, and we'll be doing monthly read-throughs on different projects.
Amazing.
The first of one, we did our first one for the Pearl, and that has been funded through donations. So now we will do one next Monday for a series, American History series. So go to the helpmcfoundation.org and sign up on that list so you can get updates for when we're doing these read-throughs or other events.
Nice, man. Oh, it's awesome. I love to see it. Very cool. We'll hopefully see everybody at ZIFF this week, even though you will listen to this after ZIFF ends. But I'm looking forward to seeing all our friends here locally and watching some good movies and eating some tacos.
All right, man. Great talking with you.
Same.
We'll check in next week, or we'll see you tonight at ZIFF.
Okay. Sounds good, man. Take care.
This season of Truly Independent is supported by the Help Them See Foundation. Help Them See is a nonprofit dedicated to supporting feature films that inspire faith, hope, and connection. By partnering with filmmakers, the Help Them See Foundation brings meaningful stories to life and shares them with audiences worldwide, making a lasting cultural impact through the power of cinema. Learn more and discover how you can be part of the movement by visiting helpthemseefoundation.org. Thanks for joining us. If you are enjoying Truly Independent, please share and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the journey. Today's episode was edited by Michael Bradford and produced by 3 Coin Productions.